regularly comes after Christmas, and it's very appropriate that it follows on the heels of Christmas. Because at Christmas, of course, we are celebrating the incarnation, the coming of God to become human with us, God with us, Emmanuel. And this gospel today, the first section of John, it's often called the prologue, tells us about who this is who has come into the world as God breaking in. And the name that is used is the Word. This is the Word that has broken in to be with us in the form of the person that we knew as Jesus the Christ. So the Word is, as people who would be hearing this gospel for the first time, but even today, the Word is the eternal being, is the one through whom all creation came into being and out of nothingness. It's not that as you and I put things together and we say we create things, well, we do create things, but from things that already exist. The Word was in the beginning, and through the Word, everything that is came to be. And then we actually hear the reverse in order to emphasize that. And he said, the gospel says, and there is nothing that is that didn't come through him, through the Word. So through the Word is coming everything. The Word is that which guided the people in deliverance. The Word is what was spoken to the prophets that they then shared with the rest of us. The Word is that driving peace of God that creates and puts understanding into being. We also hear something that is going to seem like an incongruity, but is a truth of God. We hear that the Word was with God from the beginning. And when we hear the word with, we think that there is a distinction, and there is. Somehow the Word, the one that we understand as Jesus Christ, the Word was with God. So we can understand that thinking about Father and Son. But then we have the deep theological truth, and the Word was God. And the word that was used for was God, is nothing less than God's name for God's self. In the Old Testament with Moses, you might remember that God defines God's own name as I am. Well, the word is not just I am, which is present tense to us. It actually is a word that is timeless, going both directions. So it's I was, I am, I ever shall be. So that word as God is also defining existence as God and with God. So the best way that we can understand it is the Trinity. It's understanding the communion of the Godhead. And that's how the word is being defined for us. So it's definitely a complex thought that we just behold and we grow in our understanding. The Word is also defined as being life. And somehow, again, it's a complex understanding, but there is no life without the Word. By definition, that everything that there is, the fact that you and I are here breathing, everything that ever was, ever shall be, that exists as life, exists because of the Word, exists in connection with the Word. We have also the description that the Word is the light. We've been talking in Advent about the light, and we're going to talk more in Epiphany about the light. But the light is God and is coming out of the Word. And we hear that the light is not overcome by the darkness. So that's how we get the extension of understanding that when we carry the light of Christ in us, everywhere we go, there's light. And because the light is not overcome by the darkness, there is no place that we can even imagine going or being where Christ isn't already, where God isn't already. That's part of the understanding of the light. We also hear in John's Gospel that the light is given to everyone. It's a gift to everyone. There are no distinctions. Now, everybody doesn't embrace the light. There are people who we know who've lived in history, that we know today, that we know of today, who choose not to accept the light in this world. And they do that for many reasons. A few that I can think of that are actually documented in the Gospel of John are for worldly power. People don't like to give up. We don't like to give up our own power over things, to accept the fact that the light, that the Word, that God actually has control over everything, even us. There are people who don't want to be looked down on by others because they might proclaim their faith in Jesus Christ. There are times when all of us, and certainly some among us, would choose not to embrace the light, because then the things that we do that we really don't want brought out into the light are revealed because of the truth of who the light is, of who the Christ is in this world. So there are many reasons that everybody doesn't choose to embrace the light. But when we do, when we accept Christ, the Logos, the Word, as the eternal one who is God and is with God all at the same time, there is a glory of God that we are able to see. There is a brilliant truth that comes with God that we are able to see a bit of, understand a bit of, stand in the midst of. The God that we can come to know through this self-revelation is understanding who Jesus was as born, the incarnate Son of God, as God and human, to understand the life that he lived, healing, praying, walking around teaching, not writing things down. The Christ who actually accomplished something on the cross, something that is for all of us, something that is beyond all of us to be able to do for ourselves, let alone for all of the world. And the power that is in the resurrection, that is the part of Christ also, the part of the eternal Word that comes through. So as we hold all of this theology, if you will, but actually all in this Gospel of John is a self-revelation of who God is to us, to try to communicate to us, to try to share with us who God is. We are able to see some of that glory of God. And as we hold that light in ourselves and go out into the world and share it with all, as God wishes all to have, we are sharing the light of Christ.